Hey everybody, it's Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling, and this is True Hill Heat. And I said it right, you motherfuckers.
All right, ready when you are.
Hey guys, I may have go away heat, but these guys have true heel heat. So you better listen to the podcast or else I'm gonna kick you in your fucking cock and balls.
I'll get it.
Hello, I'm Willow Nightingale, and though I might generally be regarded as a very bubbly, upbeat person, you're watching True Heel Heat.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel for the latest edition, the return edition, live edition of True Heel Heat Check number 24. This time we are giving you our second half of the NBA season power rankings and much more as usual. And of course, to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague. He is your resident True Heel pot heel himself. And we got Harlem as well.
Coach says he's 9. What's he?
Peppa.
Say, it is Chris G.
It's crispy.
There you go. You got the intro
Harlem.
from the better person to give the intro.
Appreciate the intro, girl. Appreciate it.
Perfect timing. Yes, it is Chris G. How are you doing, G? Chris G.
I'm not so good after that ass whooping last night from the Detroit Pistons. My ass still hurts because they whooped it.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about much more going on in the NBA as we usually do. But to do all of that, we appreciate y'all for joining us live. We appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember, either way, show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You can also share this video with all of your NBA family, friends, and fans on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You can also sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you and hear your thoughts on what's going on in basketball land, everything coming off the heels of All-Star Weekend. We had our All-Star preview. I was writing solo for that, an abbreviated version of True Heel Heat Check for that one, but we got a lot of stuff to discuss from All-Star Weekend, a lot of stuff to discuss going on around the NBA world. We got our power rankings, and of course, we got to talk about the elephant in the room named Kevin Wayne Durant. So we got a lot to discuss on this week's show. So comment down below if you're watching us on demand and keep the conversation going right there as well. But Chris G, We weren't able to join me on True Hill Heat Check number 23. You were under the weather. I rode solo for that, and I was able to do it, I believe, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, like right before the All-Star game actually began. So what was your kind of overall thoughts on All-Star weekend coming off the weekend that was in Los Angeles in the Intuit Dome? Not a lot of people in attendance. All-Star weekend is usually like a destination weekend for sports fans, but Intuit Dome, I've never seen it that empty. Look at that, another run in.
Another
Hey!
run in. Next generation. Say hi. You can talk into the mic. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, there we go. Say let's go Knicks.
Let's go Nick.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. Keeping it
That's-
consistent. Love it.
All-Star weekend. Dunk contest needs to be abolished. They should ban it. Or just let Mac McClung just perform every year. I don't care. They wanted him this year, but like nobody else wanted to go up against him because they knew they were going to lose. But I'd rather see Mac McClung beat a bunch of jabronis than Kashad fucking whatever his name is dance after every two-handed regular dunk that he can do. You know what I mean? So the dunk contest was like the focal point of All-Star weekend. It's always like the most hyped event, and it always fails, or it hasn't been close to exceeding expectations in 10 years. So got to get rid of that, or at least, like you said, just don't make it the headliner. 3-point contest was fun. It was nice to see Dame go out there and win with a torn Achilles or with a surgically repaired Achilles. So third time, this may be the first time we ever had a 3-point champion never playing a game in the season. He just decided to show up All-Star weekend and then win the 3-point contest, which gives me hope for Dame Lillard when he gets back. So because I do miss Dame. I always was a fan of Dame, so hope he comes back healthy. And the games themselves, I mean, they were a little bit more competitive, right? It was a little weird with the round robin and having just short games basically. All-Star weekend was done by like 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is super early. All-Star games usually going into 10:30, and then the MVPs are like later on. So it's a little wild to see. I get the time difference and stuff. They were in Cali or whatever, or the West Coast, but they got to switch up the format. I like this, but not like going forward permanently. If they bring it back every once in a while. You also made a good point with the world team, half of the world team being injured. So it was like you're not really the full effect of what you could have had. So I don't know. All-Star weekend is just a tricky thing, man. It's like something that's losing its luster, and it's kind of nobody really knows how to fix it. But I will say I did enjoy the New York Knicks winning the Shooting Stars Challenge. Put the banner up.
But this was I really enjoyed the All-Star game. Like, I had my criticisms about All-Star Saturday. I 100% am with you with three. I said it on True Hill Heat Check number 23 that 3-point contest needs to be the headliner. It's always good. You got Damian Lillard not even playing a game out the whole season, coming in his warm-up sweats and beating everybody. That was a lot of fun. A nice little storyline to follow. Devin Booker, who was great throughout it, but misses the last 3 shots that would have at least tied it up to make it even more interesting. You had Con Knipple, who had a great performance. But yeah, the slam dunk contest. To me, first of all, we officially did not have any 50 overall dunks. There wasn't any unanimous 50 dunks, which I think is that a first for All-Star Saturday for the slam dunk contest? I don't remember a slam dunk contest that didn't have at least one 50 scored dunk. Like, that's really bad.
Even the last few years where it hasn't been that exciting, or all right, the last few years prior to Mac, because Mac always pulls out at least one perfect 50, right? But even prior to Mac, there was still somebody putting down at least a solid dunk that'll get them a 50. That did not happen this year at all. The most is like a 48.
Then no, 49.6 was Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant had a great dunk where he alley-ooped it to himself, did it in between the legs. So
Yep.
he got like 350s out of the 5 judges. So he was able to get a 49.6. But then he completely whiffs on the final dunk of the
Yep.
he forgets that you get 3 attempts. No matter what the shot clock says, you get 3 attempts. So he didn't have to rush because he was running out of time because he had already attempted the dunk twice. He could have slowed it down, gone for his final dunk, but he didn't even know the rules. Like,
You're
you
like a
got
regular
people playing in
180.
the dunk contest that don't know the rules.
Yo, for real, it's bad. It's bad. There's no more star power. There's no more star power at all when it comes to the slam dunk contest. And then the poor kid almost killed himself. So, these guys are trying to get as creative as possible, and they can get seriously hurt. So, I don't know what to do about it. If you're gonna have it around, just put it in the middle of the show.
That Jace Richardson was Botchamania. That needs to
Yeah.
be on Botchamania. So that was really bad.
On the next
All-Star
episode
game,
of Joints and Jabronis.
there you go. But the All-Star game itself, I really enjoyed it, mostly because I predicted on In the Weeds with Jeremy Lambert, because we talk about basketball over there, and I predicted the Victor Wembanyama would be the catalyst. I was like, this is gonna be different from other All-Star years. I was like, there's one guy that I know for sure will bring it and will play competitively because he doesn't know how to flip a switch and act like he doesn't care. It's Victor Wembanyama, and he was the catalyst that really made everybody else on the court, especially Anthony Edwards on the USA Stripes team. He really was the catalyst that drove everybody to be competitive. You had Kawhi Leonard out there reminding people that not only is he a top 10 player in the NBA, but he's been playing like a top 5 player over the last 2 months. When the Clippers turned around their whole season, he's been averaging 31 points per game. Like, he reminded everybody that, where he dropped 31 in the quarter. That was probably the best performance of anybody during the All-Star game. But Anthony Edwards was probably the most consistent. Loved the first 3 games. The first 3 games, like you said, was very competitive. It went right down to the final minutes of these quarters, and then the final game was a little bit of a whimper. But I think that's what's going to happen, because they didn't evenly split up these teams. I said that on the preview, that they had the old heads on one team, they had the younger guys on the other team for the USA. They split it too stupidly. If this was an evenly split, where you had a nice combination of younger guys mixed with the older guys on both teams for the US, I think that it would have been a great 4 quarters of basketball.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they knew what they were doing. I think they just wanted to market the younger guys and showcase them a little bit more. So you know how the NBA works. Adam Darth Vader Silver, we see you. And then yeah, I mean, it would have helped too, having most of the guys in the world team. Oh man, Wemby was crying after when they lost. That's
Hey, I appreciate it.
That's heart. That's heart. I fucking love it. That's passion. You get upset because you lost something important, or it felt important to him. We need more of that. So hopefully that continues going into next All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I feel like they gotta continue this for one more year to just see if it works again, because this is probably the best received All-Star game in probably since Kobe was here. Because Kobe was kind of like Wemby, where he was the driver who was always competitive during these All-Star games, and he always made sure that other players was out there. Like, I saw an interview of him from 2019 where he talked about, he was like check the records. Me and Chris Paul have never lost when we were on the same All-Star team.
That's
I was like,
that's why they vetoed that trade, man. That's why they vetoed that trade. But if you think about it, right, they would have these All-Star games, and they would, they'd be the scoring back and forth, right? But then in the last 5 minutes, it'd start getting serious, and Kobe was always guarding LeBron, or he was always guarding the best player on the other team. Like, Kobe really wanted that shit every year.
Yeah, and that's why the MVP award is named after him for a reason, because he was always like that every year. What was it, 18-time All-Star? He was like that every single year during All-Star game, and we lost that when he retired for a while, because for better or worse, I saw Stephen A. Smith kind of blame him for the decline of the slam dunk contest, and I'm not going to go that far, but I will blame LeBron James for the decline of the All-Star game. Like, LeBron, he just doesn't care. Like, yes, he's the second greatest player of all time. We both had him at number 2, but his mindset and his attitude towards stuff like the All-Star game, stuff like slam dunk contest, it's so unlike the guys of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like the other guys around him in the top 5, top 10 greatest players of all time. They don't have the same mindset of this doesn't matter, this does matter type of thing that LeBron seems to have.
Yeah, they took this All-Star weekend shit seriously. Whether it was the slam dunk contest or just the All-Star game itself, they were going to put on a show, but they were going to play hard through it. And LeBron he treats it like a vacation. It's a fun weekend, which I get. But if you're going to take the competitiveness out of it, then what's the use?
Yeah. So I am hoping that we can continue this. And really, when this All-Star game was really an example of like, and we've been saying it, when we did our like top 10 best players in the league right now, like the guys that are on the come up, the guys that are like cracking into the top 5, and we're discussing who's in the top 5, who's not, who's 5, who's 6. It's Wemby and Anthony Edwards, and they feel like the two guys are going to be the face of the league, especially when LeBron retires in the next year or two.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those two guys you can count on.
Absolutely. But it wasn't all talk about the All-Star game and the improvements that happened on the All-Star game and how bad the slam dunk contest was and not that many people in the building. You would think that all of those would be the main talking points from All-Star weekend. No, that is not the main talking point from All-Star weekend. The main talking point from All-Star weekend is a Mr. Kevin Wayne Durant, who has been exposed again is the number one Twitter troll and burner account fiend. But like, there was funny stuff that was exposed in this whole scandal with Kevin Durant being investigated apparently by the NBA because he was talking trash about his teammates. That's mainly why this news kind of came out. But there was a lot of hilarious stuff out of that because you had good friend, he follows me, I follow him on Twitter, Busby on Twitter, who exposed that Kevin Durant is not only a troll when it comes to NBA and fans talking like they know the game and stuff like that. He's actually a Drake stan who is very upset with Busby, who is pushing the Kendrick Lamar better than Drake thing during the whole battle that happened. And he released a thread of KD messaging Busby in his DMs at like 6 a.m. in the morning for like 6 months straight, over and over again, asking him, where's your daddy, Kendrick? What you feel like? What's your daddy, Kendrick? That stuff was funny to me. But then you have the Get Off My Dickerson burner account, which went on a tirade, a group chat, where they had basically talked trash about all the different teammates that Kevin Durant has had, including Kevin Durant being one of the most hilarious people out there, where he called Russell Westbrook a triple-double cocaine bear. He called Steph Curry light skin. He compared Frank Vogel and Devin Booker to Stalin and Hitler. That
was my favorite one, honestly.
He played Kyrie for the demise of the Nets. He said James Harden's, he's a good nigga. I miss him, but he's he act a little different sometimes. And then he's talking trash about his current teammates, saying that Alpin Şengün can't shoot, can't rebound, can't play defense. He's a slob.
He's a slob.
He talked trash about Jabari Smith, saying they think he's the future, but he ain't shit. And Jabari Smith, by the way, thinks that Kevin Durant is his favorite player of all time and his inspiration for being in the NBA. And then he had to see that shit.
I'm gonna say this. It was the words of Kevin Durant's burners. He said Jabari Smith is retarded. He called Jabari Smith a retard. Not my words. His words.
Not his words.
He low-key retarded. That is wild.
What did you think about the Kevin Durant Twitter scandal, which is the funniest, but also the saddest thing, because he is a guy that legitimately, if he's able to get the Rockets, especially this Rockets team, if he's able to get the Rockets to an NBA championship, he is a certified top 10 player. But I don't think a lot of these media outlets will put him in the top 5, especially after the way he's behaved with this whole Twitter scandal. And then his behavior during All-Star weekend, where it was very obvious he was getting blasted on his phone and getting all the reports of his burner accounts being exposed in real time. And we were seeing him react because he was always on his phone throughout the whole All-Star weekend.
He looked so upset every time they cut to him. He did not. He was cracking fake smiles, barely. I mean, am I surprised? No. This is he's been known to have burners and troll and stuff like that. A lot of it, I thought most of it was hilarious. I think the fucked up part though is that your like current teammates are being thrown under, like it's halfway through the season and you're already throwing half your teammates under the bus. Like I think this just proves like what the haters or the negative like people on that are not behind Kevin Durant, like it proves them right about KD's legacy. Like he's not a good teammate. Like he is not fucking good as a teammate. And as great as he can be and as legendary as he should be, he's just never going to be that fucking legendary, and he's never going to crack that top 10 because of shit like this. You can't expect him to bring this fucking Rockets team to the next level when they find out that he's calling the fucking second best player on the team a slob, you know, and the other guy, I mean, he probably doesn't even know what's fucking happening, right? But yeah, I mean, you can't be talking shit about him either. He's like one of your best players on your team. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't see him bringing the Rockets over the hump. I think this might negatively affect them. If it doesn't, then they got a shot still. You know, they're still top 5, top 6 team right now, but we'll see. We'll see going forward how this affects them.
It's just, yeah, I mean, Kevin Durant, yeah, a lot of his legacy will come down to him being very overly sensitive on what people say about him. And the biggest knock against him really has been he's never been a leader, that he's never driven the bus. He's a bus rider. He's got a seat on the bus, but he ain't driving the bus. And a lot of it comes down to him always pointing the finger at everybody else. He's done this before. Like he threw Steph and them and Draymond after he left Golden State. He was already talking trash about the Thunder when he left there. He blames the whole demise of the Nets on everybody else except for him, Kyrie, and James Harden. He said we were good, but everybody else around us was trash. And then the Phoenix Suns, he's calling freaking Frank Vogel and Devin Booker Stalin and Hitler, which is Steve Kerr stuff was wild. He was like, no wonder Jordan didn't like him. He don't like the blacks.
He said I held Curry accountable in film, and everybody looked at me like I was fucking crazy. You know what's crazy about it is like he doesn't take any accountability, right? Your foot was on the line, dickhead, when you took that shot. You should have had better court awareness. You probably would have won a championship that year, right? That's one. And then it's funny that you bring up, like, you know what's worse than, like, all right, this guy should be driving the bus. He's not driving the bus. He's just riding the bus, right? You know what's worse than a bus driver or bus passenger? The bus passenger on the fucking bus that's giving directions to the driver because he doesn't want to fucking drive himself. And that's what Kevin Durant is. He's the guy giving directions, telling the driver where to go when he should be driving the motherfucker himself. That's Kevin Durant.
He's the motherfucker on a road trip who's in the back seat and trying to navigate. He's trying to navigate
with the map and shit. Like, we don't got the GPS on. Shut the fuck up back there and eat your snacks. Go tweet somebody.
Yo, Kevin Durant. Oh man, it's just this is definitely a knock against his legacy. It's sad. It's sad because he's one of the greatest scorers of all time. He should legitimately be in the conversation as a top 10, fringe top 10 player in NBA history. He's got an MVP. He's got 2 championships. He could, the Rockets, it could grow into a better team. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. You get a point guard. They improve the roster more. They could win a championship, but he has totally basically damaged the team morale, the team chemistry, because the guy who is the best player on the team cannot be seen as the leader if he's talking about his teammates like this and already throwing them under the bus. They're third in the Western Conference. It's not like they are having a bad season. At this point, when we're doing this show, they are third in the Western Conference, and he's already out there talking trash about them.
It's sad. It's sad. How do you satisfy a person like that? I mean, how do you look to somebody like that to lead? You can't.
No, he was fine on the Rock. He remember last year there was conversation that the Rockets were going to probably trade for him, and he didn't want to be traded. He was fine with the Phoenix Suns, even though he was in burner accounts on Get Off My Dickerson, which is very, very much like, even if I didn't know that was his burner account, I would be like, that's definitely a Kevin Durant burner account. That's his whole attitude on Twitter.
Like yeah. I mean, there's no more fitting burner name than that for Kevin Durant.
No. We got Jose in the chat. Good to see you once again, good sir. He says the burners aren't what holds KD out of being a top 10 player for me. It's the fact that he joined the team he would keep losing to in the playoffs to win championships. Well, yeah, of course, that's the bigger thing. But I'm saying that if I'm going off the hypothetical, if he's ever able to lead the Rockets to a championship, because I think that with his own resume alone, regardless of what team he was on and joining another team and all of that, that's circumstantial to me. Actually, as his resume, he's like a top 15 player. But if he gets one more championship, he's got 1 MVP, 3 championships, and he led his team, the Rockets, to the championship, he would be a top 10 player. But then people would bring up, but he's a bad teammate. He's not a good leader. They will bring up all the interviews and all the comments that's been in the news before this. And then they will also bring up that he is a Twitter troll with a burner account thread that reads like a Chris Jericho list. Armbar. Like that's how the fucking thread was with this whole burner account scandal.
1,001 burners. The list of burners.
The list of Durant.
Yeah.
KD is a damn fool for this. But hey, I enjoyed the entertainment. This is a funny thing to talk about because it's Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of all time. Probably like a top 50, top 15 player of all time. And we're talking about his social media activities. That is the main topic of discussion and probably will be until the end of the season. He's going to need a great playoff performance to make people stop talking about this.
Oh, man. All we need is like some OnlyFans model to expose him, and that'll be the cherry on top.
This is why I say, man, and you can attest to this because you got a woman in your life. This man needs a woman. This man needs a girl.
Man,
this man needs a wife. Yeah, come on, man. You too damn old for all of this. What is he, 37? Come on.
30, 37, 30. Bro, once this shit start going, it's even my shit is flying out. It's going. Once this shit start going, bro, it's time to wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up or don't wrap it up and just get a kid. I don't know. I don't know. He needs something. He needs something in his life.
You need a purpose in your life.
Yes, seriously. Well, we got to talk about the other big news coming out of All-Star Weekend, which is to do with a topic that I brought up on the last True Hill Heat Check, which is about the anti-tanking bylaws that have been pitched, some rules to help basically change the NBA overall. So to talk about it, really a lot of this talk started did with what the Jazz did in the game. I forget who they were going up against, but they were up by like 3 or 4 points going into the fourth quarter, and they decided to sit down their best 2 players, Larry Marketing, Jaren Jackson Jr. They sat them down, and they basically just lost the game on purpose in the fourth quarter. Probably the most egregious form of basically just tanking that we've seen in NBA history. And it's become this big scandal and big talking point for all the talking heads, whether it's ESPN, First Take, whether it's Fox, anything. They've been talking about like, what should we do? They've come up with ridiculous stuff. Like I said on the last episode, I don't think it's as big of a deal as they were making it. I heard people saying, "Oh, just cancel the draft," and I'm like, "What? What are y'all even talking about? What? That is preposterous." First, before we get into the anti-tanking rule changes for next season that was proposed by Adam Silver, and he had the meeting with the 30 NBA GMs. What do you think about the whole tanking issue and what the Jazz did a couple of weeks back?
I mean, blatantly losing games just to improve your draft position. I mean, I don't think anybody should be losing games on purpose, right? Doesn't matter the sport, or it doesn't matter. Like you see football teams, right? I like how the football draft and that thing kind of goes, because like there's not a lot of tanking in football, right? Even the bad teams want to play good to like ruin people's chances of playoffs and shit. There's always a competitive nature, right? And if you really look at the NFL, like there's not a lot of teams that are in the bottom picking consistently 3-4 years in a row. I mean, unless you're the Jets, but that's different. Yeah, that's a terrible franchise. Most of the franchises, they pick the 1 or 2 guys, they build their team up through free agency, and then they're competitive, and it's a cycle. With the NBA, it's like, yeah, you get the same teams kind of in the bottom, but like they never actually win in the lottery or anything like that. So is tanking really that bad for the NBA? I don't know. I don't think you should be losing games on purpose, but I also don't think tanking is like a super big issue where they have to do all of these protocols just to avoid the Wizards not winning games. Fuck, what are the Wizards going to put out there? There's no stars out there right now. Who gives a fuck if the Wizards are winning or losing games? You know? Yeah, if it's a good team, you know, purposely losing or some shit like that. Like something with the Pacers. Like the Pacers I can get a little mad at because they have a franchise player. They have parts already. They sold off some of their team, you know, and gained some assets. And now they're tanking and purposely trying to tank to get a big draft pick when they just came off a fucking finals run. Like something like that, you know, is a little iffy.
We got to understand they lost their best player in game 7 of the NBA finals. They made the adjustments, and like they what they did is very similar to what the Celtics did, except the Celtics have a coach that was motivated and a star player, an all-star player who's an NBA finals MVP. Yes, they have Pascal Siakam on the Pacers, but Nemhard and a couple of the other players, they've been dealing with injuries the whole year. Like, regardless of them purposely tanking right now, I think they're tanking because they are that bad. It's not the like, oh, they're good and they just went to the NBA finals, they shouldn't be this bad. I made the argument, this is the second time I'm making the argument this year. I expected them to be this bad because you lost Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think people realize how much he was a driver for this team. Like, we got to remember, this time last year, they were like in the bottom half of the Eastern Conference. They were a play-in team. They were like an 8-7 seed, and they had to move up. And Tyrese Halliburton had an amazing second half of the season that led to them becoming the 5 seed and going into the playoffs and having that magical, remarkable run that they did. Like, I think that people did not understand how much Tyrese Halliburton was driving that team, and the loss of him is the whole reason where they're in this at this point.
I didn't think he was going to be fucking Peyton Manning, goes down for the season and become the worst team in the league. Now it's kind of fitting, right? Indiana.
Indiana.
It's kind of that would happen. But, you know, it's hard for NBA teams to really structure a really good NBA team. with the salaries the way they are, and just like all the restrictions and rules that they have with like salary aprons and shit like that, like it's gonna cause teams to want to tank and try to get these young players multiple years in a row, so then you could hold their rights, so when you do pay them, you don't have to fucking break the bank and not be able to pay everybody else. Kind of like what the Thunder did, right? They could still pay other people because the 5 guys that they drafted that ended up being all-stars are under contract because they have their bird rights, and it doesn't really count towards like the penalties and stuff like that. A lot of people don't understand that. So it's just, I don't know. Tanking in basketball, it's not as big as people make it seem to be. Trust me, I know. I'm a Knick fan. They tanked for 5 years straight, and we got RJ Barrett.
And trust me, I know as well because I'm a Lakers fan, and we haven't I saw somebody, I think it was Deep 3. They did they ranked every the last 10 first round picks for the Los Angeles Lakers, and the best player on that list was Julius Randle. That says it all. That says it all.
The Lakers had a stretch where they had lottery picks and they low key tanked. They had Randall, they had Ingram, they had a couple guys that they picked up, Lonzo. And then it just never panned out.
Yeah, they never got like a franchise player to really turn things around. We got Chase in the chat. Thanks for joining us, good brother. See him every week on True Off Season, as well as the Pit review. They did a great review of season 1 yesterday on the channel. Chilling with Chase says, yep, NBA, the problem is not the draft, in my opinion. It's free agency and trades. Players have too much control and teams get hurt. That's a good point as well. A good one. But let's talk about these reports. So Shams reported yesterday, that Commissioner Adam Silver informed the league's 30 general managers on Thursday that the NBA plans to make anti-tanking rule changes for next season, sources tell ESPN. Stakeholders have intensified dialogue about combating tanking. So then he had a secondary tweet. He quote tweeted this and said, multiple sources with knowledge of Thursday's GM meeting, as well as a late January competition committee meeting, told ESPN that the following concepts have been discussed to curb tanking. It says first round picks can be protected only top 4 or top 14 plus. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date, which is huge. That's a huge thing. Like, you can't, like, basically it's saying you better be competitive, because you could tank all you want until trade deadline, but the second half of the season we need some competitive games. Then we had the third one was no longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes, which is another huge one. Then we got 4, teams can't pick top 4 the year after making conference finals. So if this was applied for this season, the Pacers would be tanking for no reason, because they made it to the NBA finals. They couldn't be in the top 4. Then the next one is lottery odds are allocated, based on 2-year records. So it basically depends on how your record is over a 2-year span. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams as well. So the lottery is not going to be just the teams that don't make the playoffs anymore. It's actually going to be the ones that also make the play-in. So that's another one. And then flatten odds for all lottery teams. So basically going to even out the odds for everybody. So this has been interesting kind of reaction to all of this. I'm reading some of the quote tweets to this. We have one that says, these are all ridiculously stupid. Stop trying to make all categorical rules based off weird one-off flukes or assign moral value to different types of losses. Ethical losses get a pick. Idiots. Might as well just let fans vote on which team gets the number 1 pick. Then we have another one that said, rigged flag to Dallas instead of a shit team, and saw King's plan to start a rebuild, and he wants to pull this. Then we have another one that says one simple fix and all this nonsense goes away. Abolish the lottery. The lottery supposedly exists to prevent tanking, but it just prolongs the suffering. See Wizards, Washington. Let the worst teams be the worst teams, restock with elite talent, and get better faster. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these changes because it will combat what's happening in the tanking for this specific season. But I think that the simplest thing to do would be go the NFL route, and the worst team gets the worst team in the NBA, they get the number one pick, and so on and so forth based on their record. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not a fan of the lottery. I like the NFL style. I believe it's the same way with the MLB too. And the problem with that, though, with the NBA is I think that would encourage more tanking, because if you know you're going to get the worst record in the league, then everybody's going to try to get – I mean, not everybody, but those bad teams are going to try to get that 10-win season, so they could get that first pick and guarantee it. I mean, the Knicks purposely did that year when David Fizdale coached them so they can get the number one pick for Zion. And they ended up with the third pick. But they had the worst record in the league, and they had they had the best chance at the number one pick. So, I was always a fan of the NFL style. But I actually like some of these rules. Some of them don't make any sense to me. I don't really like the 2-year allocating record. I mean, I guess if you have one good year, one bad year, then it kind of puts you somewhere in the middle as opposed to – but it's just too much math, I like the expanded lottery because it'll have a chance for the play-in teams to fucking finally break out of that play-in mold. We see playing the same play – since they've had the play-in, we've pretty much been seeing the same teams in the plane. So
Hawks, Bulls,
here,
yeah.
And it's not like they're bad teams or anything. It's just they haven't landed that one guy to get them over the hump. You can't always rely on free agency. You got to draft well, and sometimes if you're just drafting in the middle of the pack, you could only do so much, right? I don't like the flat odds for everybody. It defeats the purpose of a lottery. Even though it would curb tanking a little bit if everybody has a similar chance, but it's just like the one I really like is the freezing the lottery odds at because then it's like, all right, we play like shit the first half. We know we're getting the number one pick. Let's try to ruin some playoff odds now. So now you get those competitive games from these bad teams going down the stretch. That makes for better basketball. That's probably the best one that I see. I don't know if the draft protections is really going to help. I don't think anybody's like purposely trying to land middle fucking picks. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody wants the high pick. So only protecting 1 through 4 really does nothing. You're still going to get 6 teams that want to tank. So
yeah, I do agree with you. Probably the best rule that they have announced here is the lottery odds freeze after the trade deadline, because that's been the whole problem. Is ever since the trade deadline, we've been seeing more and more teams go into full-on tank mode, and there's still 3 months left of the season, and a lot of people don't want to see a lot of these games involving these teams that are trying to improve their lottery odds at this point. So a lot of the other rules, when we got like to the 4th and 5th and 6th rule that they want to apply, it really felt on like a hat on a hat. It really felt like unnecessary. Like you were fine after like 1 or 2 or 3 of these rules, and then you just started trying to do a little bit too much. I do agree with you with the 2-year allocated record. It's just, yeah, you're just penalizing a team like the Pacers who basically they went to the NBA finals. They had a team that if we went into the season and nothing happened to Tyrese Halliburton in game 7, they would be a favorite to go to the NBA finals again this year in comparison to all the other teams in the Eastern Conference right now. But they had their best player go out. So they went into full, let's stay away from the second apron, because we have a guy that's making over $150 million that's going to be out for the whole year. So we can't re-sign Miles Turner, or Miles Turner chose to go somewhere else. We got to get rid of different other players. And it's similar to what the Celtics did, except the Celtics had an NBA Finals MVP to replace basically their best player that got injured in the playoffs.
Yeah, they already had a Batman for Batman's demise. But it's like 2 of these things. Like they want to do the top 4 restriction, but then there's also the conference final ban. And it's like, I don't know. You got to pick one of those, right? What if a team just gets lucky out the 8th spot and make it to the conference finals? Now they can't get a good pick next year, even though they're probably not even that good. They just got hot in the playoffs. Like, we've seen teams do that before. So I think they can figure it out and come to a healthy medium, but I don't know how much it's going to help.
Yeah. We got Jose in the chat who says the worst record doesn't even matter anymore. Just look at Dallas last season. If you're going to lose games, fine, but make games competitive. The Jazz showed early in the season they can compete. Exactly. Like, look, I will still go back to our freaking preseason. This was like a couple of games into the year. We were like, the Jazz going to make them play it. They're actually playing good. And then they completely have just started playing bad. They had a couple of injuries as well, and their schedule got tougher, but literally, like, they've been in tank mode since like the beginning of February, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once they got, they traded for Triple J. Then once they found out Triple J's a little banged up, I think they just decided to just pack it in, get him back healthy next year.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Jose also adds, Pacers were always going to be bad. Halliburton went down. They let Turner go and didn't address replacing him. Plus, the team has shown us that without Halliburton running the offense, they aren't great. Yeah, like Pascal Siakam is really good, but he's always been the second best player on a good team. If he's your number one option, you're probably not a good team.
Facts.
We got some love for Julius Randle from Chase in the chat. I think Randle's a good player, but if that's your best player that you've drafted in the first round out of 10, your last 10 first round picks, that's when I'm like, okay, there's an issue. There's an issue.
I think we all like Julius Randle. We all got love for him.
Exactly. We got Jose who says these tanking teams are lucky. This upcoming draft class is deep, but I don't know that I would want the first pick based on what's going on with the potential first pick, which a lot of that leads to another conversation here, because that is the big talk with tanking. The whole reason why we have so many teams that are tanking right now is because this is one of the deepest draft classes. I think we talked about it last time that there's going to be like 13 freshmen probably in the whole lottery. I think the first 13 picks are probably going to be freshmen, and we've heard talk about like AJ DeBonsa being the number one overall pick and Cam Boozer, but as of late it's been Darian Peterson that a lot of the experts and analysts have been pointing at to be the number one overall pick, but he has not helped his draft stock at all recently, where he's missed 7 games, and most recently he had like 23 points in 18 minutes and then decided to tell his coach on the Jayhawks, he's like, oh, I got some cramping in my leg, I'm going to take off the rest of the game. Basically, this man is in tank mode. This man is trying to tank his own draft stock, but he thinks that he's just trying to protect himself from injury so he doesn't get injured before the NBA draft.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be a Washington Wizard. So I think he might be doing shit like this on purpose. Honestly, I still say the best kid coming out this draft is going to be AJ. I think he just has the size, the skill set, just like a little bit of everything to be the best one in this path. And I would personally go Cameron Boozer over Darren Peterson, but that's just me. So either way, he's going to be a top 3 pick. Doesn't matter what he does. But yeah, no heart. I wouldn't spend my first pick on that.
No, I definitely understand that. We got Chase, he says, I love Caleb Wilson from UNC. He's been getting a lot of pub as well lately. He's another one that feels like he's going to be a top 5 pick. There's another kid. I forgot his name. Calipari is his coach. I forgot his name though.
I think it's the kid that could score. I don't know his name though. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
He's up there in scoring. He's like top 7 in the nation or something like that.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name, but I really I think he's where is Calipari school now? Calipari is the coach for Arkansas. So, best player,
something with like an S.
Yeah, at university. Like I was, we got it in the chat. Yeah, the Arkansas kid. Yeah, that's who I'm trying to get his name because I've seen his highlights. He does look really good. And Kendrick Perkins went as far to say that he's the best point guard that Calipari has ever coached. Which, if you know the point guards that Calipari has coached, it's like, seriously, like for real.
Shit, you're talking about John Wall, right? Kentucky.
John Wall, Derrick Rhodes, Tyrese
Derrick
Maxey,
Rose.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Like,
Oh shit, I forgot SGA came out of Kentucky.
oh, okay, it's Darius Akuf.
Oh, there we go.
Junior. Yeah, Akuf Jr. Yeah, he dropped like 49 a couple of games ago in a double overtime thriller. So he's been getting his name up there a bit. So he's another one to watch, as he's probably going to do well in the NCAA tournament and improve his stock even more. But it's exciting. It's now seeming like excited to watch these teams, especially as we're going into March Madness. It's going to be exciting to see how these players kind of shape out and move up or down in the draft. But Darian Peterson is not helping himself at all at the moment, even though he's been looking great when he's on the court. He just isn't. His whole mindset and just his attitude towards it is rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, just pack it in for the season and just wait until your name gets called in the draft.
Yeah. Do a LaMelo ball. Go play somewhere else instead
Go
of
to Lithuania.
college.
Yeah.
We got JC says Braden Burries from Arizona. I like as a combo guard in this draft. Yeah, there's a bunch of great names, and they're all freshmen. That's what makes it so exciting, that a lot of these teams are going to draft these kids, and they're going to be like franchise players for years and years to come. And we're going to be talking about them in a couple of years as the best players in the league because of how fast these players and teams improve around them. But it is now time for the main part of this podcast. For last couple of ones, we gave y'all winners and losers for trade deadline. Didn't do any list because I was writing solo for True Hill Heat Check number 23. But we're back with the list, and it's got to do with the current NBA. And we are talking about the second half power ranking going on here for going into the second half of the season. The second half of the season started last night. Before we go into the power ranking, how you feeling, Chris, about your New York Knicks getting demolished by the Detroit Pistons last night?
Man, they've been kicking our ass all season. Yesterday was just another page in the chapter. Cade Cunningham played like an MVP. He did not miss from any level on the floor. And they did this without Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Durant. So imagine when they get those guys back. I don't know. It's not looking too good for the Knicks. They're good. They're good, but they don't got the defensive presence to compete with some of these teams.
No, as I said, I've said it once, I'll say it again. The Knicks don't guard nothing. They don't guard nobody. They are not a good defensive team. And my God, Cade Cunningham looked like the MVP last night. 42 points. He was just unstoppable. And he's not like the flashiest guy, but he's just hard-nosed. He knows how to score the ball. He knows how to facilitate at the right time. I feel like this second half of the season, he's really going to be into the conversation as far as like MVP. Right now, I know the betting odds have it as Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. If the season ended right now, he would be the MVP. But I think Nikola Jokic is going to have a big second half of the season to make that an argument. And I think Cade is probably going to be right up there with them. Maybe Luka Doncic can turn around the Los Angeles Lakers now that he's healthy. We finally have a clean bill of health for I think the first time since last March, which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I think those are going to be the four in question for MVP for the second half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if Cade just keeps playing like this and the Pistons keep steamrolling over everybody, I could see him pulling away, actually.
Yeah. What a nickname. I heard his nickname when I was watching ESPN today, and they calling him Motorcade, which is awesome. One of the best nicknames I've heard in a very long time. Got to give it to ESPN and them over there. They did good with that one. All right. let's get into second half power ranking. I'll give these in bunches since we got 30 teams to rank. I'll go 26 through 30, and I'll start off with number 30, and we'll make our way up here. So power ranking of every team for the second half of the season. So from 30 to 26, at number 30, I have the Kings. They are the worst team in the NBA. No question in my mind that they are. Feel so bad for Russell Westbrook that he has to spend one of his last seasons here. 29, I'll go the Indiana Pacers. Like I've said before, without Tyrese Halliburton, they are a very bad team. Pascal Siakam is a great player, but he's a great player on a very bad team. Then we got number 28, the Pelicans, 27, the Wizards, 26, the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets are probably the best of this bad bunch, mainly because Michael Porter Jr. is just a bona fide scorer. He's a bona fide bucket, especially being on his own team. What's your 30 through 26?
30, I'm going Sacramento Kings. Is by far the worst team in the league. Worst point differential. They've been really bad. I'm going with the Pelicans at 29 because they got ballers on that team and they still suck. So I don't know what's going on over there. Then I'll go with the Pacers. They're pretty bad without Halliburton. Even if they do got Spicy P and a couple other guys. Then I'll go with the Washington Wizards. This is 27. Washington Wizards. I'm sure by this time next year, this will be a different story. Or it looks like it might be. And then I'll also have the Brooklyn Nets at 26 solely because of Michael Porter Jr.
Absolutely. We're on the same page there. Then I'll go 25 through 21. 25, I got the Utah Jazz. They are purposely tanking. Like, we have never seen this blatant of tanking that we ever seen. And they basically have sat down most of their play, kind of like the Sacramento Kings were sitting down most of their best players to purposely tank. I got to put them at the bottom half of the list. 24, 24, I'll go the Memphis Grizzlies. I didn't write that down. I actually have it swapped, but I'll go Memphis Grizzlies at 24. Losing Triple J, they have just given up on the season. 23, I'll go the Dallas Mavericks here. Dallas Mavericks are only here mainly because Cooper Flag. Then we got 22, the Chicago Bulls, perennial play-in team, but I don't think they're going to make the play-in this year, and it's crazy because they started off the year so well. And 21, sad but true, it is the Milwaukee Bucks, which is way below what most of us thought at the beginning of the season. Chris, what's your 25 through 21?
So 25, I will also go with the Utah Jazz. I don't know what happened to them. We had so much hope for them to be an exciting team. And then they just decided to do their bullshit. They also got a little hurt along the way, which didn't help, but still, man, they're down there. Then I'm putting the Chicago Bulls right after them because they traded away everybody. I just feel like they're gonna just continue to just decline. I'm gonna go with the Mavericks after that. I have hope for the Mavericks a little bit because I think the second half, maybe Cooper Flag is gonna up his game a little bit. I mean, he's getting better every game, so maybe it'll help him, win a couple games down the stretch. Then I'll go with the Grizzlies. They still got Ja, so you never know if he's healthy. He comes and he balls out a little bit. They go on a few game winning streak, try to get a play-in spot. And then unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks. Greek Freak, I don't know if he's going to help him when he gets back. Looks like they're dead. They're in the mud.
He still sounds checked out, even in that new interview he did. He was just like, if it was up to me, I wouldn't be on the Bucks. That was wild to say. I was like, damn, for real?
But then at the same time, he'd be like, oh, I love it here. I want to stay.
So goofy. All right, now we got our play-in section here, 20 through 16. So number 20, play-in experts, the Atlanta Hawks. I'll put them here. Jalen Johnson's having a good year. They got good defensive guys on that team, but They're just a play-in team at best. 19, I'll go with the Portland Trailblazers. They're a sleeper team. They were my sleeper team to make the play-in this year. I still think that they got a shot to do it. Then we got 18, the Miami Heat. I think they're in the top 8 in the East right now, but I don't believe in them too much. I actually swapped these two teams out right before we went live. I got the Heat at 18, 17. I got the Hornets. The Hornets are the hottest team, one of the hottest teams in all of the NBA. They've been playing so well the last month and a half. I really am confident they're going to make the play-in, and they do have a chance to be the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. But 16, I got the Golden State Warriors. They've been dealing with so many major injuries. Steph Curry's been dealing with the knee ailment as of late, but I still believe he'll be back before the end of the season, and he can push them into at least a play-in position and potentially be the 8th seed in the Western Conference. What you got? 20 through 16.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, besides Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels, they don't really got much going for them. So I don't think they're gonna be anything more than they are right now, which is maybe fringe playing. Blazers still got some young talent, but I don't think they're gonna, make any moves higher than what they're doing right now. I'm gonna go with the Miami Heat here because I think they're another team that's just like still stuck where they're at. There's no upward trajectory. There's no downward trajectory. They didn't make any moves to help them out. Then this is where I put the Clippers because as much as I want to say, they sold off Harden and Zubac and they're gonna, decline. Kawhi's still playing at a crazy level, and they won a tough game yesterday against a tough team. I mean, the Clippers might be there to compete a little bit, so I'm gonna keep the Clippers right there at that spot.
That's fair. All right, 15 through 11. 15, that's where I got the Clippers. I'm a strong believer the Clippers are making the playoffs. They're going to win at least the game in the play-in and potentially make the playoffs this year. And Kawhi Leonard's been playing like a top 5 player in the NBA. 14, I got the Orlando Magic. I just don't believe in them. I just lost all my faith. I thought they were going to do really well this season, but they're a middle of the pack team at best. Paolo Banchero really hasn't took that next step in his career. 13, the Philadelphia 76ers, which might be one of the more surprising teams in the Eastern Conference. Tyrese Maxey playing like an absolute superstar. Joel Embiid has looked like he's back in the game. Paul George is just being a decent role player for them, which is sad because he was one of the best players in the league at one point, but he's given them what they need, and I'm really confident they're going to do well and might have a competitive first round series. 12, I got the Toronto Raptors. They just been very solid, top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. But number 11, I got the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns been probably the most surprising team in the Western Conference. Dylan Brooks becoming a star player for a team. I never thought I would be saying that, and Devin Booker did go out during yesterday's game with some soreness in his I think in his hamstring. So hopefully he's going to be back. But the Suns have been very impressive with the team that should not be in the running in the Western Conference, but they are. So I have to put them at number 11. What's your 15 through 11?
Well, 15 for me is the Orlando Magic. Franz is out for another couple of weeks, his ankle shot. And without him, I mean, they really can't spread the floor. Paolo's good. He gets a little better every year, but like it's incrementally. It's nothing like, it's not like it's not like Anthony Edwards where he makes a leap at a certain point of his game every year. You know what I mean? But Paolo's still solid, but the rest of the team is just So I'll put the Magic there. I'll put the Golden State Warriors at 14 because you can't count out Steph. It hurts that Butler's gone, but now with Porzingis in the fold, they can spread the floor a little bit. Maybe he'll help. So, and they got rid of Kuminga, so hopefully the chemistry on that team is going to be a little better now. After that, I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns. I don't have faith in them for some reason. Maybe just because they're the Suns. I don't know. Dylan Brooks always been a solid player, even since Memphis, like early Memphis days. It's just now I guess he's just coming into his own. He's coming into his prime. He's hitting the three really well. He's still a great defender. Still gets in people's faces. He plays hard. No, so it's a good guy to have on the team, but I don't see them getting higher than where they are right now. I'd put the Sixers over them, which would be the 12th spot, because Tyrese Maxey just playing good and will continue to play good. Embiid looks like he's getting a little spring back in his step, so hopefully they can just like manage his workload a little bit, and he'll be ready for the playoffs. And PG got to stay healthy and stay efficient. As long as he's efficient, you don't need him to fucking drop 30 a game. But if he could be efficient, don't turn over the ball, hit threes when he needs to, they'll be fine. And then at 11, I'll put in the Raptors. Young, fun team to watch. Probably like one of my favorite teams to watch, because they're young and energetic, and they have a bunch of ex-Knicks.
That's the main reason, guys.
RJ Barrett and IQ is the main reason I like the Raptors, but I like Scotty Barnes. They do all seem to play well together. The coach is a madman. He makes me laugh, so I dig the Raptors.
All right, 10 through 6 now. We got at number 10, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves, of course, Anthony Edwards. He's one of the best players in the league. And he always, like you said before with Pablo, he always makes those big leaps, whether it's his three-point shooting from last season. This season, it's been his post game, but he's also a great defender coming off of winning the All-Star MVP, winning the Kobe. I think he's going to be even motivated to take another step, another leap. And I think that the Timberwolves could rise up in the power ranking here by the end of the season. 9, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was a tough one for me to rank, because I could have ranked them here. I could have ranked them as high as like 5, because they just look so good with James Harden. I said it when we did our trade deadline thing. I was like, these two guys working together, they look really good together on the court through the first couple of games since James Harden got traded here. So I'm liking what I'm seeing there. Number 8, I took out all my bias, but number 8 is also Kobe's number. So I put the Los Angeles Lakers here. The Los Angeles Lakers, I could have had them here. I could have had them as high as like number 6, but I think it's fair to put them here. They've been inconsistent toward going into the All-Star break. We'll see how they play second half of the season, where they finally got their three best players on the court. I think Luka and LeBron have only played 10 games together this season, so we'll see how they really are. And I think they're gonna at least win 50 games by the end of the season. Number 7, I got the New York Knicks here. The New York Knicks are one of the best offensives in the game. Jalen Brunson, one of the best point guards, especially in the Eastern Conference. He's one of the best players in all of the Eastern Conference. And they have a whole bunch of role players around him. Karl Anthony Towns, when he's on his game, can be a great number 2. They just can't guard anybody. So I can't put them realistically in the top 5. And number 6, I got the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets have been experiencing a little bit of a slide. I think they lost 4 of their last, they lost 6 of their last 10. They're still trying to get, Nikola Jokic back into the mix of things. We'll see how Jamal Murray responds to not a very good All-Star weekend for him. He couldn't even make a shot in the 3-point contest, but we'll see how he responds in the second half of the season. So that's my 10 through 6. Who you got?
All right, my 10 is probably going to surprise you, but I got to put him here at 10, because after what transpired over All-Star weekend, I am losing faith in them by the day, and that is the Houston Rockets. I do not think they're going to finish as a top 5 team, and I do not think they're going to capitalize on any momentum. I think something's going to be I think there's going to be something there that's going to stop them from getting to that next level, and it's because KD was on his bullshit this weekend. So I'm going to put the Houston Rockets at 10. After that, I'm going to put the Timberwolves at 9. They look good. Anthony Edwards is a beast. He's going to continue to play great. Yeah, I hope they surprise me. I actually like the Timberwolves, but I got them at 9. At 8, I got the Denver Nuggets, because they have been sliding a little bit. They also haven't been like consistently healthy, and I don't know if that's going to continue through the rest of the season. So they need to be fully healthy before they can compete with any of the other teams in the top 5. Let's see, that was 9.
8. No,
That
I
was
think that was 9. Okay.
9. All right. So 8, I also have the Los Angeles Lakers fully healthy, but we got to see their defense is still a big question mark. They didn't really make any like big time moves at the deadline to kind of shore up their needs. So I can't see them making a jump into the top 5. But you never know if you get crazy LeBron and crazy Luka playing at the same time. It might be magical. So we'll see. Number 7, I have the New York Knicks as well. They can't fucking guard a fly in the wall. And when Cat's not playing good, the rest of the team doesn't play good. Cat is literally the catalyst on the team. Brunson can have an off game, but still affect the game. He'll still be tough on defense. He'll still move the ball. He'll still hit a big shot when he needs to. But when when Cat's off his game, he's fucking off his game, and it seemingly turns the rest of the team. It takes the flow out of them too. So we need him to step it up. Maybe we can get back into the top 5. And then for 6, I'm gonna put in the Cleveland Cavaliers because since James Harden joined that team, they have looked like a totally different team. They've won 9 out of their last 10, and I think their trajectory is going upward now that they have James Harden on their team.
Sounds good. Like I said, I could have had them easily at that spot. I could have had them higher up, but I wanted to be modest of where they're at right now. So finally, top 5 teams in the NBA as of right now. I will give them some love. The Houston Rockets I got at number 5, only because I'm only graded them on how they looked in the first half of the season, where they're at right now. I expect, though, for them to plummet. I expect them to plummet down because they still don't have a point guard. KD was on his BS, which could affect the team chemistry. But where they are right now, yes, they barely beat the Hornets, like our good friend Jose said in the chat. But I think that they're gonna slide down a bit. But for right now, I will keep them there. They're 3rd in the Western Conference, so I'll keep them right there. Number 4, I have the Boston Celtics. They have been in my opinion, they've been the biggest surprise of any of the teams in the East or the West this year. Everyone expected them to be a bottom half and get a draft pick and improve on their chances for 2027 when Jason Tatum is back and healthy, and they have just blew all expectations out of the water. They're a great defensive team. They're really good on offense. Jaylen Brown's having a career year, and Jason Tatum just started practicing with the G League, so it's a problem for everybody else in the Eastern Conference right now. Number 3, I could have swapped these two out with I could have swapped this team out with number 2, but I went with the San Antonio Spurs at number 3. Victor Wembanyama, he just looks like an absolute maniac out there. He dropped 17 and 15 last night, dunking on people's heads and stuff like that. He's just amazing, and the Spurs just have so much youth. They feel like the 2024 Oklahoma City Thunder in a lot of ways. Number two, I could have had at number 3, or I could have had at number 1, but I just decided to split the difference and put them at number 2 for now, because they are I call them the team IR. It's a capital R at the end of their name, and it's the reigning champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder, I gotta put at number 2 because they've been dealing with so many injuries, and I don't have that much faith that everything's gonna miraculously be okay and they're gonna be all healthy going into the playoffs. They've been dealing with injuries since the beginning of the season, with Jalen Williams being out with the hand injury, and until now, where I think they had like 7 players on the court before All-Star break because of the abdominal injury to SGA, and we don't know if SGA is going to be back and healthy for the second half of the season or when he's going to be. So I think he's going to be back for sure, but they just have been dealing with so many injuries. I got to put them at number 2 because number 1, especially coming off that win last night against the New York Knicks, and because they are now the best record in all of the NBA, it's the Detroit Pistons. I think they are the best defense in all of the NBA. Motorcade is looking like an MVP candidate. Jalen Durant's coming off his first All-Star appearance. You got Isaiah Stewart. It didn't matter that they got some suspension on their team from that fight with the Hornets. They are still balling out and still looking good. Detroit Pistons, number 1 in our first power ranking on True Hill Heat Check. But for number one on the second half of the season as of right now, power ranking Detroit Pistons. What's your 5 through 1, Chris?
I definitely messed up last time because I gave too many. So my fifth spot is actually the Cleveland Cavaliers. But it's more of the same with my list. I got the Celtics at 4. You could arguably put them up another spot because Jason Tatum is probably going to be back in time for playoffs, and they're looking like a dangerous team without him. So you insert Jason Tatum in there. Celtics are going to be dangerous in the playoffs. You don't want to see them. San Antonio Spurs, number 3. Wemby, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell. I mean, these cats are just all balling. They're all young. I mean, they really do feel like that last year's Thunder team. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for them because they could easily finish in the first spot in the West, especially if the number 2 team, OKC, is still hurt because they are dealing with injuries, and they're going to be dealing with injuries all season. I mean, it's like weird stuff, abdominal injuries, hammies, hands. It's just they're going through it right now, and hopefully they could get at least 80% by the playoffs so they can be a little competitive. Because if not, they're gonna run into some trouble. And then the Detroit Pistons at number 1. I mean, after that ass whooping I witnessed yesterday, it just solidified it for me. This team reminds me of like some real old school bad boy Pistons. Like they're in your chest, they're in your face every offensive possession. They play rugged, but on offense they play smooth. It's like a good balance between them. Cade is just he's a motor, like no pun intended. He is the motor for that offense, but he has such a command over the court and just over the flow of the game. It's really impressive to see. He's one of the smoothest players. I've been saying this since he got drafted. He's one of the smoothest players in the league. But now he's showing out and showing everybody, and he could very well be the MVP at the end of the season if the Detroit Pistons finish with the best record.
It feels like a combination of the Bad Boys and the 2000s Pistons. Yeah, 2004 Pistons. It's like you put Isaiah Thomas on the 2004 Pistons with Cade, with the way Cade's played. Like that's how it is with this team right now. But we'll see if they can keep their spot at the power ranking. We'll at least do 2 more. We'll do one like halfway through when we got like a month left of the season. We'll do another power ranking. And then at the end of the season, going into the playoffs, we'll do another power ranking. And that one will be who we believe will win the championship. That will be our playoff prediction power ranking and how everything pans out for the season. But that's going to bring an end to this edition of True Heel Heat Check. Want to thank you all in the chat for joining us. We got our man Chase, who's a big Minnesota Timberwolves fan, who says, I can't believe my Wolves are ranked high, LOL. So many years of being bad. He says the T-Wolves' biggest issue is consistency on defense. That is definitely true. Anthony Edwards is consistent on defense. McDaniels is good on defense, and of course Rudy Gobert, but everybody else is kind of choppy. And especially, I think also another issue is that Julius Randle has never seen a shot he will be willing to take.
Especially in front of 3 defenders.
And Jose says, like, what the Pistons have done so far, and they deserve to be number 1. But the idea of Tatum coming back makes me give the Celtics the edge over the Detroit. Yeah, this was a power ranking on what we've seen so far in the season going into the second half of the season. It is not who we think is going to win from the Eastern Conference and Western Conference just yet, because I do agree with you. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see if the Celtics can get Tatum back at 80%. I might be going with the Celtics by the end of the season, but we'll see what happens. All right, Chris G, we've come to an end. I want to thank you, good brother, as always. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they shall see you again.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at THCG, and on Twitter, you can find me at True Hill Chris G. I'll always be here on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment channel, talking basketball with SP3. And then you can find my shorts on the True Heel Heat Wrestling channel. You can find them on this channel too. I'm everywhere.
Everywhere. Yes. Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. You will see me tomorrow here on the channel. But of course, you'll see me on the wrestling channel at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, talking about the week that was from pro wrestling, everything from Grand Slam Australia through this week's Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA, New Japan, Stardom, GCW, and everything else. You know we do the deal. Talk about it all on the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and the True Draw Josh will be there live tomorrow. But you will see me here on this channel at tomorrow probably in the afternoon after True Hill Heat goes off the air, because we got the debut episode of a new show we're doing on the channel, True Headphone Heat, where me and the Stat King went and we listened and re-listened to J. Cole, The Fall Off. We will give you star ratings for each of the songs and our overall rating for this new album, one of the biggest hip-hop albums of the year. So, and you can also in the comments let us know what album you want us to review next, whether it be a retro review of an older album or a new album coming out. I know Baby Keem came out today, so might be listening to that in the future. K-Dot, Drake are coming out with albums this year, so let us know in the live chat if you're watching on the premiere, or in the comments what you want us to listen to and review next. Also check out Chase and Stat King for the Pit review, clocking in the Pit Season 1 review. Check out True Hill Heat Check number 23, where I gave a preview for the All-Star game, talked about the tanking, talked about Slam Dunk Contest and why it needs to be abolished. Check out our Scream reviews for Scream 1 as well as Scream 2. This weekend, we're dropping our Scream 3 review as well, so you got a lot to enjoy here on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. For Chris G, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been True Hill Heat Check, number 24, second half power rankings. We are signing off until next time.